3 weeks after Queen Jane's funeral, England's court was back to business as usual. Whispers in corridors, feasts piled high, and one king still hunting for peace, and a wife. But in Henry's court, peace is a rare commodity, and wives are even rarer. Cromwell, why is it that every time I find contentment, God sees fit to snatch it away? Perhaps, Your Majesty, he enjoys a bit of suspense. Suspense? I've had my fill. 2 wives driven from me, 1 taken by God. Tell me, am I cursed or merely unlucky? Majesty, I would not presume about curses, but luck, sire, can be managed with the right paperwork. Paperwork. There's comfort in a pen. It never contradicts. True, sire, though it can ruin men just as neatly. Jane was gentle. She gave me peace and a son. She was the only woman who obeyed, who gave me an heir. But England will not wait for my grief. What must be done? The prince's birth secured the succession, Majesty, yet the realm seeks assurance. A marriage wisely made, foreign alliance, Protestant sympathies could strengthen the realm. Another queen, as if they sprout on trees. Plant a few in the orchard next to the pears. I will make inquiries, Majesty. Suitable candidates are rarer than pears in winter. Find me one who brings me peace. I'll not wage war in my own bed again. Then perhaps we seek a lady fluent in silence. You jest, Thomas, but you're the only man who dares it and lives. So began a search, equal parts diplomacy and desperation. Sealed letters, painted likenesses, and bruised pride. For every refusal, the king's resolve hardened. For every success, a minister walked a narrower line. Well, Cromwell, Europe still has women. What news? There are princesses, sire. Some have declined. Christina of Milan answered with wit rather than a marriage contract. She refused me. She spared her head and sent her regards. But there is another prospect, Lady Anne of Cleves, virtuous, modest, and of noble blood, an alliance that could serve the realm. Virtuous and modest. You make her sound like a sermon. What of her looks? A king must have comforts. Reports are favorable. Tall, fair, gentle. A likeness is being painted for your inspection. A painting. I want truth, not flattery. Bring me no fantasies. I shall attend to it, sire. If I begin interviewing the ladies personally, I fear few would accept. Your Majesty's presence would shorten the list. Efficiency. See that it brings me a wife before I lose my patience or my kingdom. Take a look, Your Majesty. Well now, she's fairer than I expected. There's a softness to her eyes, not dull. Yes, Cromwell, she's comely. A fine, gentle face. You may have done well at last. Your Majesty honors me. I knew her virtue would please you. Virtue, bah! It's her looks that please me. And if she's as docile as you claim, perhaps God has granted me peace. Her manner is mild, sire. Quiet, not scheming. Not too quick? I hope not. I've had my fill of sharp tongues. You assure me she's obedient, pious, not likely to argue? Yes, sire, she will be peace after storm.
Anne of Cleves had been raised in the small duchy between modern Germany and the Netherlands, a quiet court known more for discipline than display. She could read and sew, but had no taste for dancing or music, pursuits Henry prized. She spoke only German and had been sheltered from the pageantry of larger courts. Her brother, Duke William, ruled the duchy with Protestant sympathies, and a union with England promised strength against Catholic rivals. The match, arranged by envoys and sealed in letters, was pure politics, a treaty draped in wedding lace. But to Cromwell it was more than policy. It was survival. He had written that the Lady Anne is a very gentle countenance, and that her modesty would suit the king's temper. One flattering report too many, and he would live, or die, by those words. We shall see. You failed me before. Never, your majesty. I would stake my life upon it. Careful how you phrase that, Thomas. If I'm made a fool again, I'll have your hide for a saddle. I'll cuff you from here to the Tower. Then I shall pray she pleases you, sire. Pray hard. I'd hate to waste a good minister over a bad woman. The arrangement was made on paper, sealed in wax, a contract that promised allegiance, virtue, and political advantage. But no parchment can account for a king's whims or a bride's first impressions. Henry had awaited this meeting for months, yet had little notion how a simple introduction might unravel. Even kings stumble over miscommunication, especially when they insist on testing a bride in disguise. Watch closely, Cromwell. If she recognizes me at once, she is either clever or insufferably bold. Sire, perhaps it would be better not to surprise her. Nonsense! I wish to see her true colors. Anne, newly arrived in England, was weary from travel and overwhelmed by court ceremony. The man who greeted her, stout, flushed, and eager, she mistook for a courtier bringing gifts. Smiling politely, she thanked him and turned away. She does not know me. How can this be? Has she no eyes? Sire, she has just arrived. She has not yet seen you without the disguise. Disguise or no disguise, a king remains a king. Yet she bows to strangers. Does she at least possess manners? Anne, realizing too late who the man was, blushed deeply and attempted a curtsy. Her hands trembled. She spoke softly in German, offering apologies no one in the room could quite translate. Henry's wounded pride heard only confusion. I do not like her face. She does not seem to like me. Cromwell, you painted a clever likeness, but the flesh disappoints. Sire, the report said she was fair and agreeable. Agreeable. She looks like a broom beside her portrait, and she speaks no English. How will I test her wit if I cannot understand her? The private introduction, intended to charm and assess, disintegrated into embarrassment. Henry fumed at unmet expectations. Anne remained polite but bewildered. The king's temper, the disguise, and a gap in language conspired to make diplomacy memorable, for all the wrong reasons. Cromwell, find me another, or teach her to smile properly before I see her again. Yes, sire, easier said than done. Henry met his bride and promptly began to question every choice that led him there. A king, a contract, and a portrait, yet even the cleverest agreements can't tame a temper or predict a first impression. In Henry's court, diplomacy is an art, and chaos the inevitable masterpiece.